How's it going, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Monday, February 26th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Good to be here with you all. Hope you guys had a great weekend with this full moon in Virgo. A lot of things definitely came up to the surface. I think that's really connected to our spiritual inner world, and our health, and our physical health, our spiritual health, our mental health. I think this is where a lot of the focus is coming to, and today we're starting to see some progress, right? Mars is starting to square Jupiter. Venus is off of its square to Jupiter, so they're about 2 degrees apart now. Chiron is at 17 degrees. The North Node's at 15 degrees because the nodes go backwards. So, we're starting to see this drifting of all these conjunctions, right? Of these powerful conjunctions that we've had over the past week. And I definitely think today is a releasing in some sort of way, right? This moon coming into Libra is going to make its conjunction with the South Node. And I think it's significant coming off of this North Node Chiron conjunction that this North Node, or this moon, is on its way to cross the South Node and will oppose where the North Node and Chiron met, right? So this is the first time this is going to happen. It'll go exact tomorrow, but the moon coming into Libra today, we're starting to feel it, right? We're starting to really have this awareness of what we need to release, what we really need to let go that's associated with our relationships, and where we kind of get lost, where we get stuck, where we just kind of go in circles, right? And, this is connected to where we are trying to heal and where we're starting to really, want to shed light on our individual selves and where our egos really need to be addressed, right? So this Mars is starting to square Jupiter as well. So this is a very powerful time for innovation. We want to be able to take risks. We want to be able to start new things and manifest new powerful things, right? But we don't want to overshoot or overjump or start too early. You don't want to take off across the finish line before the gun even goes off, right? So we want to really get a plan in place here of what we really want to grow and what we really want to see manifest over these next couple months as Jupiter's on its way to Uranus, to meet with Uranus. We just saw, I definitely think there's going to be more wild stuff going on in the world, especially associated with anything electrical, right? We just saw last week as this Venus-Mars conjunction happened, building up to this square with Jupiter, we saw the whole cell phone outage here. That's just the beginning of it, It's what's really going on behind the surface here, because we have Pluto behind all of this. Pluto is behind Mars. We can't really tell what is going on, what's real, why these things are happening. But we can definitely count that there's going to be some pretty unexpected events that are going to be happening here. It's going to be associated with the financial system, the electrical system, the internet, all this stuff, and how we communicate. And it's going to affect our natural resources. It will affect our material kind of plane. But I think it's a good time to innovate, because when things change, when massive changes happen, sudden turn of events cause things to kind of have to change. This is when opportunity happens, right? So this Mars squaring Jupiter, when shit gets crazy and shit gets weird, we want to be able to see the opportunity within that, right? And I'll say this, is that really wealthy people, successful people, billionaires, especially people who are at the upper echelons of our society, I've heard this quote be said many times from very powerful important, successful people is you don't want to let a crisis go to waste. And what that means is that when there is a crisis, when things do get crazy, there's always an opportunity within that. Whether that's good or bad or dark or light, I think that's based upon our own personal decisions. But there is some turbulence here that we're going to be experiencing with this Mars square Jupiter. And it could be in a very big way. It could affect us in a very big, powerful way. But I don't think it's the end of it. I think it's kind of the beginning of it, because Mars and Venus will square Uranus just within the next week and a half, 2 weeks here. Mars will come later, but there is some turbulence, and we want to be able to see the opportunity within the turbulence. Because we're going through a lot personally right now. So whatever is happening outside of us that we can't control, it's allowing us to take new opportunities to expand in new and exciting ways. But it can be very intense. It could be kind of volatile. I think this energy can be quite volatile. But I think taking risks with Mars square Jupiter can be a good thing, as long as it's a calculated risk, But with this moon coming into Libra today, it will make some pretty strange quincunx over to Mercury and the Sun in Pisces. So there's a lot, of what's our spiritual connection within our relationships, right? It's like, where do those things line up and where do they not line up? And I think today this moon's going to be helping us see, this relationship lines up spiritually. This one does not. We connect on a spiritual level. We do not. And we want to have, healthy spiritual partnerships with the people that we're involved with and with ourselves as well. So this Mercury Sun Saturn conjunction is getting much closer. And, I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned here. Definitely with this full moon that we just came off of. We kind of know where we need to put our attention with our physical bodies, with our health, with our spirituality, with our subconscious states and how that's affecting our physical body. With so much Pisces energy right now, we have to really be very aware of our health right now, especially how our internal space is affecting our physical space. It's that very as above, so below, so to say, right? Is that what's going on within is happening outside of us as well. So wherever we're at in our minds, that's also happening with our physical bodies. So, we don't want to be getting caught up in relationships that are making us sick, right? We don't want to be getting caught up in situations with people where we get brought down. This moon getting ready to cross the South Node for the first time is allowing us to really address, we've gone through this Chiron North Node conjunction. I know what I need to do for myself. I know what I need to do to heal on my own. And now, we're getting ready to clear a lot of that energy over the next 2 days. So, the energy can be very intense. It could be very volatile. And things can change on a dime. There's opportunity. We want to be able to take risks and not be afraid to, get caught up or not be afraid to take the leap, right? We want to be driving the ship. We don't want to be letting someone else drive our own ship, And at the same time, we may feel like we're in control and we are driving our own ship at this moment. But truly, with this Sun, Mercury, Saturn, and Pisces, it's teaching us, we have to really give it to the divine. The divine is what is helping us through this life. And, what other dimensional entities and whatever you want to call it that are influencing this reality. This is where things can get kind of heady and out of this world. We could start to feel a little up in the clouds at the moment, and with something, it could feel like it's harder to hold on to reality at this moment mentally, but physically it's not actually that way. Inside of our minds we may feel that way. It's not actually that way. The sun and Saturn are together, so things are very physical, but in a spiritual way. So if we're, allowing ourselves to release what is not helping us at all with this moon in Libra, and with this Mars squared Jupiter, it's like, what connections are really potent and powerful, and what connections are just not connecting at all? There could be a bad connection, right? It's like, we saw it last week. It's like, all of a sudden I look at my phone and it's just, there's no service at all. Like, this is very Mars and Aquarius square Jupiter, right? Where the connection is it's trying to find the right place to, insert itself. So it can be very, very out of this world, right? It's a very cloudy time. We don't really know what's going on at this moment. We can only trust and be within ourselves, and be within our own hearts and our own spiritual subconscious space. That's where we're going to find security. That's where we're going to find the answers that we need. We're not going to have all the answers, and that's okay. But I think the right answers are coming through as long as we're doing the work, putting in the work, and not being afraid to just let go of what we don't need anymore. I mean, by tomorrow, we're really going to be feeling that when the moon crosses the south node. So this is definitely a time whenever, we want to be really addressing just our physical and spiritual health with this Sun, Saturn, Mercury conjunction here. So I think that's where the message is really coming through with Mercury. Mercury is the messenger of the sun. So what spiritual messages are coming through for you at this moment? Where can you focus your attention on your health? What came up on this full moon that you really have to address that needs to be cleared? I think this moon south node is going to help us clear a lot of that energy here. So we got the Emperor card upright. So we want to be taking our own authority. And this is the Aries card, right? So this Chiron North node that just happened, this moon getting ready to cross the South node, it's like we're feeling like, hey, like I'm ready to take my own authority, and take this new version of myself and this new identity that is starting to really ingrain itself into our being, and move forward with that head first, and not care about being judged, and not care about being, crucified for whatever path you want to take in life. This moon can bring up a lot of judgment. It can, kind of consume us, especially making these odd angles over to all these Pisces planets. It's easy to fall into the trap with Libra and Pisces of really caring too much about what other people think, or other people's sensitivities. With this Emperor card, it's like, we all have our own shit. We all have our own perspectives. We all have our own judgments, right? It's like we also have our own identities. So it's like we want to take that and move forward in a confident way and prepare to really release a lot of stuff this week, that's associated with the South Node Libra, that's connected to our relationships. There's going to be some massive changes this week with Mars squaring Jupiter, and then coming on to square Uranus, which may not happen this week, with Mars Venus squaring Uranus. Venus will square Uranus this week. Mars will not. But, there is going to be radical shifts and radical changes in our lives. And it can be, very uncomfortable, and things can happen very quickly, and conflict can happen very quickly and be over as quick as it came, right? And we want to be able to be diplomatic with this moon in Libra and find solutions to work together in better ways, but also find solutions to work better with ourselves and our internal world. and not let other people's opinions or judgments direct and drive our ship. We want to surrender and give it to the divine here in Pisces season, and trust and have faith. And that's what Saturn in Pisces is teaching us. And that's the message coming through here by tomorrow when the Sun Saturn Mercury conjunction happens. So we want to keep our channels open. We don't want to fight off the inner voice right now. And now, if there's any time to be listening to your inner voice and the instincts and things that are coming up within you, now is the time, more than ever, with Mercury and Pisces, with the Sun and Saturn. So, because those are the things that we need to listen to that is really helping us build a long-term, better future here. And the decisions and choices that we make at this moment are going to affect us long-term, good or bad. And with this Mars square Jupiter, it's like, how do we adapt to these things that are coming up? How do we adapt to all the changes in our life and in the world? It's how we, respond to situations that are going to affect us for a very long period of time at this moment, with Saturn being so involved with the Sun and Mercury. And that's what Saturn's all about. It's like learning the lessons, paying attention, doing the right thing, being responsible. And with Mercury here, it's really getting the message very clearly. But it is coming through in a spiritual way. So it can come through, synchronicities in the world or messages or, you're not so typical forms of communication, right? Because what can seem to be a coincidence, well, it's most likely not at this moment. So I hope you all have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace out.